Always Sunny Season 17 is already over, which is pretty crazy because it does feel like it just started. These shorter seasons do seem to bother people, and while I do agree to some extent, I can't say I dislike the format too much. It does allow each and every episode to feel important, and they crank out seasons so fast that the wait is not too bad. Anyways, the only other thing I want to say before we get into the Golden Bachelor live is that I'm very thankful for the amount of consistent views I've been getting with these reviews. It's been 40 views minimum and over 100 maximum for 7 straight episodes, and I'm hoping I can keep up the numbers with the finale. These mini-reviews are insanely low effort in comparison to my other stuff, so I'd be even more grateful if you were to check out my berry ranking from about a year ago, which I put my body and soul into, or really any other reviews of mine. It would make me a happy little guy. Alright, with that covered, let's move to the final episode of Sunny 17. I think I'm gonna start by just getting the entire rest of the gang out of the way before we talk Frank, as I was sorely mistaken in saying that they wouldn't be in the episode at all. I was under the impression that they had missed the entire show, but they'd actually just missed the hometown visit, and of course they weaseled their way in anyways. Their participation in the episode is generally pretty fine. I love the subtle callbacks to the previous episode, especially when Dennis almost says "speak of the devil" but catches himself. Mac is almost entirely useless here, though I do enjoy his delivery of the line. That doesn't make any sense, moreover it sickens me to a character we will get to later. The real star moment for the group, though, is of course at the end when they come up with a plan to do something, I'm honestly not sure, and end up looking like various stages between Jim Carrey's The Mask and Jim Carrey's The Grinch, Dennis being the grinchiest of the bunch. Speaking of Dennis, his nasally voice here, which all of them have from the Nair hair removal that Charlie once again infected them with, is fucking hysterical. He sounds like a gremlin. The most memorable D moment for me was one which I have mixed feelings on, which is when she tries to do a spin-off of Cock Chewa's catchphrase. I hate it because it's really annoying, but I love it because it is bullseye accurate for D. She absolutely would try to profit off this type of content, and I'm surprised she hasn't already. And that makes for a perfect transition to talking about my biggest problem with this episode, Cock Chewa, who I'm going to call Chewy from now on, because it makes me want to kill myself a little less. As soon as I saw this character in the trailer, I was deeply worried. Referential humor has always been a part of Sunny, but mixing in internet memes that only people my age and under should really be in the know about almost never hits. Chewy's catchphrase, her persona, the AI TikTok scene, I feel like they're supposed to be funny because they're annoying, but they're just plain annoying to me. The only times that she really kinda made me laugh are when they start to treat her like an NPC with limited dialogue options. Now on to Danny. Frank Reynolds gets the full-on spotlight this episode, and it lets him shine as the most uncensored, confident member of the gang. Dennis, Mac, and Dee are all blatantly insecure, and while Charlie is usually confident, he crumbles under little pressure. Frank, on the other hand, completely refuses to submit to any system that Jesse Palmer, the actual host of The Bachelor by the way, tries to put in place. The first scene, in which Frank instantly denies the entire batch of women that have been chosen for him, is so well-timed and delivered. Danny just gives the flattest nopes and uh-uhs, being completely unaware and uncaring of the system of the show. I like to imagine Frank truly believed the show was just showing up and saying no to the contestants you don't like until you get one you like, because when he does get Chewy, he immediately tries to end the episode and just pick her, and it's just as hilarious. The true star of the episode, however, is not who you think it is. It's not Frank. It's not fucking Chewy. It is Sam, the second potential choice for Frank, played by the wonderful Carol Kane. I saw Carol Kane in Between the Temples, a movie I fell asleep during because I watched it at 11 p.m. like an idiot, but for the parts I was awake for, she was just so good. She appears so sure of herself and willing to be goofy while retaining the qualities of a great actor, making her a perfect match for Danny DeVito's Frank. Sam is a sweetheart, with a little bit of an edge. Her husband is mysteriously dead, just how Frank likes it. She kept his penis, just how Frank likes it. And the more they talk, the more Frank realizes that Sam is his perfect match. Sam, however, decides to quit the show because she's scared to fall in love and still be turned down, and Frank hilariously slips a note under her door that simply says Dunzo, with a U. However, at his final decision, Frank realizes neither Chewy nor Charlie's mom are the correct choice for him and goes to find Sam in a rom-com-like ending in the rain. It's a very ridiculous scene, but with two of the best dramatic actors to ever grace the Sunny screen, it just sings. I still think that the scene in which Sam leaves the show is the best acting in the episode, from both Carol Kane with her beautifully written monologue, and Danny with his genuinely stunned and moved expression directly after, but this was such a great tie-up to the season. Many recent finales of the show have touched on more emotional topics, and though the majority of this episode is brain-dead nonsense, about 20% really lets the stars show their stuff. I've seen a lot of fans rave about Carol Kane, as they should, and saying that she should be a main character. Listen, while I loved her, and will continue to love her, we can't add a new member to the gang in Season 17. Sure, Frank wasn't there to begin with, but he came in Season fucking 2. It's far past Season fucking 2. Nonetheless, I would be happy to embrace Sam as a new recurring character for the show, with at least a couple appearances a season, because she really does match Frank's energy perfectly. There couldn't have been a better casting. This episode gets an 8 out of 10. To end, I think it's appropriate that I conclude in the same way the episode does, with a tribute to the late Lynn Marie Stewart, known as Bonnie Kelly in Always Sunny. She appears in this episode and in many others, and I truly appreciate the creative freedom Lynn allowed with her character. For an actress whose previous most iconic role was on The Pee Wee Herman Show, she's shockingly unafraid to be portrayed as paranoid, promiscuous, and even a little bit racist. Despite all this, she was always just so warm and calming when she appeared, not just because her character was written that way, but because she smiled and spoke in such a comforting fashion. Lynn Marie Stewart was casted perfectly to play the loving mother character because she just seems so loving and so motherly. She will be missed, and her contributions to the show will be respected. Rest in peace. I don't really know how to transition from that, so I'm just not even gonna try. Stick around for more videos if you enjoyed this one, and if you stick around a while, you might just see me cover the coming seasons of Sunny also. Goodbye now.